There's a Poyam. We have here a beach. Why do people have to go to Greece? I don't know. We're in a war. Even if I could have, and I didn't have reasons not to go, and I have so many reasons not to go, I don't think I would have gone to Greece. I just don't feel like pleasure cruises, especially not when we're in a war and our soldiers are in danger. And situation in Gaza is mostly, I don't see it as my responsibility in any way, because if my life depends on keeping terrorists alive, I'm sorry, it's an easy choice. I don't feel any sympathy for people in Gaza after what they did to us. They got so much help from the kibbutzim, and then they massacred them, the very people who helped them. I don't feel any empathy for people who go around on pleasure cruises in Greece at the time where there's a real war going on and there are hostages kept in Gaza. I don't think the demonstrations are going to help much. I think they should be aimed at the UN. Should be standing in front of the Swiss embassy demanding that the Red Cross does something. But of course they won't. I don't understand how demonstrating against, or go demonstrate against the government, but what they do is they stand in the street screaming. I've never seen a more pointless demonstration in my life. We should go to the foreign embassies. I don't think Israel is holding the cards. That's the problem, always blaming Israel, even the Israelis. I really don't think the government did anything to prevent the release of the hostages. I really don't. I think it's an assumption. I don't know. That's the point. I don't know if they did enough or not. But I'm definitely not going to assume that they intentionally have given up on the hostages. I'm not going to assume that without knowing things. And I don't know enough facts. But these people, they know everything. Point is, we must do everything to release the hostages, but anarchy and screaming and blaming. We have enough people hating us in the world. Why do we have to add hate towards one another? It's a very divided society, I feel. And I feel the whole political thing is getting out of control. People don't have opinions, they just have emotions. If you have an opinion based on facts, I'm willing to hear it, but if you're just going to scream slogans of hate towards people, towards political figures or towards people without any logic, it doesn't make sense to just hate collectively people. I don't really hate the people of Gaza, I just hate what happened on October 7th and is still happening. And the fact that the soldiers had to sacrifice their young lives. It's so hot now, I can't even imagine wearing uniform and being in Gaza and just trying to protect this tiny, tiny, tiny piece of land so we can have a life. And then other people are going on pleasure cruises. I mean, what's the point? It's not a good time for that. There's so many things to be done here. And hopefully this year I'm hoping very, very much to do as much as I can to trying to be more positive myself. And I think I don't have to go on a pleasure cruise to feel better. I can just go here. We have such beautiful beaches in this country. Why do people have to spend so much money, and instead of spending all that money and giving it to Greece or wherever, you can just give it to the people that need help here. So many people need help. Injured soldiers, families that are in financial crises. The music here is horrible. I think we have a beautiful beach, and I'm just grateful for the idea of soldiers that can have a normal life. The Iranian war was very difficult for me emotionally, not just for me. Think of the children and the elderly and the people who are handicapped, and even animals suffered a lot. And people not just killed, but just the fear, and it's a horrible time. And the reason we can live in normal life is because we have an army. And that's why the people of Gaza don't live a normal life, because they don't have an army that has good intentions. Their leaders don't care about them, obviously, because otherwise they wouldn't take all the millions and run off and leave them and not even do anything to help them and not demand the Hamas terrorists will just stop. Just release the terrorists and there's no more. But they're not willing to release the terrorists. And I'm not willing to blame the Israeli government for that, unless I have facts. And what I know is the terrorists have openly declared they don't want, they openly declare that they want to destroy this country, take it over. So why all this hate towards the government of Israel when the terrorists receive all this empathy? Why? I don't get it. What Palestine do they want to release? That of terrorists? A society run by terrorist organizations that teach kids fascist ideology? I mean, people just don't know the facts. That's the point. And I do know the facts. I've seen the facts. And I know the facts. And I've seen how these people behave. And there's a body of a baby and a toddler and a mother celebrating death. So I'm not going to blame the Israeli government. I'm going to blame the terrorists. I'm going to blame the Satan cult, the death cult. I'm going to blame people that don't want to live in peace. If they wanted to live in peace, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Why aren't we entitled to our little tiny piece of land? And the answer is, we are entitled to a tiny piece of land. If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's like math. If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's like logic. I don't like irrationality. Never did, never will. I don't like people that are just screaming slogans and don't even understand what they're screaming. I just don't understand, after all the Jews have given the world, how so much hate is towards us. And I'm talking about people that have nothing to do with Israel even. And that shows you that it is anti-Semitism. It's not anti-Zionism at all. And Zionism is Judaism. So there's the one and the same. The Jews want to live in their own historical homeland. And the ones who don't live here still pray. And that's why our haters know more about us than our leftist woke. You can't separate the two. The music is so loud, and I think they should really think about the fact that we're after a war. Not after a war. We are in a war. And maybe there are young people there dancing, but it's very loud music. And like, I could sit somewhere else, granted, but I want to sit in a place where there's light, because I don't feel safe going to a secluded beach at night. Even though in Israel, I have to say, it's safer than I think most places in the world. Can't imagine a country where it's safer in terms of personal safety. The other problem is, of course, our enemies. They're trying to destroy us from Yemen, and this whole stress, rockets, threats, daily rocket threat, that you never know what's going to happen. Terrorists. It's not easy to live here, but I can sit on the beach here. And what time is it now? It's almost 9 o'clock. That's something. It was a really hot day, and the dog really suffered, so it's really important for her to get cold air. There's so many things I care about, and I feel like I have to still care about. And the values you have, you don't have to give them up. You can live in Israel and have my vegan, animal-loving, life-embracing values. I've done nothing I've done nothing that I have to be ashamed of. That my army is protecting me against terrorists, and I'm never, ever, ever going to have anything but praise for the army and gratitude. And the fact that there are people in this society who don't get it, well, it's like a math problem. You either get it or you don't get it. I always struggled with math, but I do like logic, and I did study science, and I don't understand why I don't have a right to exist in my own homeland. I'm fourth generation here, and even if I was first generation, it doesn't matter. I have a tiny land in this world. It's not the easiest place, but it's what I call home. And if other people don't respect it, it's their problem, not mine. And it's not the problem of my country, it's the problem of other people. People decide to act in hate. You live in a free world, and yet instead of enjoying your freedom, instead of going to nature or trying to be an activist for your society, look at your own society, look at what it looks like. England is horrifying how it's been taken over by people that's supposed to be refugees, and they bring in values of terrible abuse of animals and women and young girls and inequality and racism, and yet they get so much power to say and do whatever they want, and then they sweep all these other nutters with them. So sad. So sad. I don't consider myself a conservative person. I don't want to conserve things. I want to change things, but I definitely don't see why anyone who's progressive would actually not support Israel and would support terrorists. I don't get it. Don't you have enough terrorists in your countries? Don't you have enough of these fake refugees who come to your countries and bring in their Middle Ages values of abusing women and children and racism and hate towards other people that are not exactly the same as them? Why is there a free world then? Why do you take in these people and give them so much power in your own country? Where is the freedom? It's the way they treat dogs and the way they treat women and people that are not the same as them. That tells you enough. Sadly, people are so ignorant, so ignorant. And I myself, I need to be informed in so many things, but I'll be damned if I'll read something in a newspaper and I'll believe it without deeply researching it and knowing the history of the place. And I'm talking about not the history of 10 years or even 70 or 80 years. I'm talking about thousands of years of history. And not history based on newspapers and media, but history based on facts, archaeology and science. Sadly, people are moved by emotions. And I don't understand why anybody would feel empathy towards someone who's not even close to them in any way. You're born in a free world, and then you choose to side with terrorists? I guess the hate towards Jews is really very deep and ingrained in a lot of Europeans, and definitely a lot of Arabs, which is why the Arab world is empty of Jews who did so much for them, contributed so much. Now the Arab world, who used to have mathematicians and all kinds of people, is just so backward in the third world. And people are fleeing, willing to risk their lives in boats just to get away from the Middle East. And then they recreate the Middle East in London and Belgium and France and Holland, which is so weird. You want to escape. You're refugees, so that means you're escaping some oppression, and then you bring that same ideology of oppression to the free world. And you abuse freedom of speech, and just unbelievable how they abuse freedom of speech to broadcast hate messages and anti-Semitism. I don't get it. I really don't get irrationality. I don't get this music either, by the way.